So today we're going to read the poem written by Percy Shelley, Ozymandius, one of the famous works that he has done in his life. And it's famous, it's not due to because it sounds good, but it makes you feel so old. Why? Because you know that you have an ending. You know that whatever you do, how powerful you are, how mightiest you are, you have an ending. You are going to be perished. You are going to be decayed. Okay? So what do you think? How is it connected? The question to you. Because Percy Shelley and then John Keats and then who were? Lord Byron, right? These poets were the radical romantics, meaning that they were much more serious in a sense like they started to question their belief. They started to question their faith. And that's why they are much more radical. In terms of William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, okay, they were like soft really, right? But these three are not soft, they're very harsh. So it's kind of like having just check the movement right now. It started with very softly, but it's going to end up in a very harsh reality. Right? John Keats used to write poems about what? Death. Right? And now this guy, Percy Shelley, just let me give you a very close, just very fixed answer that Percy Shelley was an agnostic. You understand the meaning of agnostic actually? What does it mean to become an agnostic? Agnostic, it means that you don't believe in anything and you neither bother if there is something. Clear?
Gnostic.
No. Gnostic is known as atheist. It denies the existence of God. But agnostic is someone who doesn't believe in anything, but at the same time, he doesn't deny the existence.
What does it mean?
So it's something like agnostic. If I just give you a just fixed answer, it's like he's in a dilemma, he's in a doubt whether someone exists or not. Okay? So that's known as agnostic. So Percy Shelley was an agnostic. So he believes that, but still, even though agnostic, but he believes that he understands that the life is going to be ended. But if you are someone mightiest, even though you are the mightiest, you are going to be perished, you are going to be decayed, you will be demeaned, you will be disrespected, whoever you are. Okay? So that's the question. Now let's read it. It's a very fantastic poem because when you read it, it gives you those who are really weak in English, those who want to improvise their English pronunciation, it's going to help you a lot because it's because of the words. And I think the meaning of the words, all the words that I believe that like somehow you are going to struggle with the meaning, I gave all the meaning in the list so that you don't struggle and you can find out your own answer from this question, from this poem. Here, I gave the meaning, whole meaning is given here. Let's read it. Listen to me and then you'll be reading as well because it's going to help you a lot. Like those who have problem of inertia, like they cannot pronounce, it's going to help you out. Mr. Akon gave concentration. Ozymandius, Percy Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who sailed too vast and trucked his legs on the stone. Stand in the desert, near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage, okay? Visage lies whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command, till that its sculpture world those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the hurt that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandius, King of Kings. Look on my words, ye mighty and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. I'm reading it again for you. Ozymandius, Percy Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who sailed too vast and trunk his legs of stone, stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown. What's the meaning of visage? Face. Very good. Face. Whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command, till that its sculpture well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things. The hand that mocked them and the heart that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear. What's the words appear? Can you?
My name is Ozymandius.
My name is Ozymandius.
King of kings.
King of kings. Then?
Look on my works.
Yet mighty and despair.
Nothing beside remains.
Nothing beside
Remains.
remains. Wherever you are, nothing remains. Then?
Round the decay.
Of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and little things stretch far. So it's a very, I think the first word, let's go for the meaning. And what's the meaning of the antique? Old, right?
Old, yes.
Right? So I met a traveler from an antique land. Okay, it's something like, we don't know actually, is it something, this narration that comes from the poet himself, or like, Anto come here, like, it's something like, come here. It's something like he met a traveler like you, okay? And he didn't ask any question, but he met a traveler, okay? Like, can you remember the rhyme of the ancient America? Right? Holding the hand,
Yes.
right? Yes. So this traveler is unknown actually. Who's this traveler? But this traveler started to say you something, right? Can you say that? Who's saying? And look, this ended up, started with an inverted comma and ended up with an inverted comma. Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
It's a quotation, right?
Yes, sir.
And who is saying that poem? The traveler, right? The traveler is saying you. Right? Very systematically. And you say nothing at all. But what does the traveler say? Too vast. What's the meaning of vast?
Bed of stone.
Huge.
Huge. And what is that? Trunkless. Sit down. Yes. What is the trunkless? That means no body. Okay? Trunkless. Legs of stone. Stand in the desert. Why was it standing? On the desert. On the desert. Now tell me, what is a desert? I think all of you know that. Because if it's Egypt, you all know that Egypt, because it's going to have that, the sand, right? The desert. Now look, what does it say? Near them, on the sand. What is the meaning of sand? The same thing. Balu, right? The sand. Half sunk, it's meaning what? What's the meaning of sunk? Like below the surface of them, right? Something that's under the mud, under the sand, right? It's been covered, okay? A shattered visage lies. Shattered means what? A broken face,
Face of
right? The
face.
face is already broken. Whose frown? Now this line is very interesting. Whose frown? What is the meaning of frown? Expression of anger. That is all the time he used to remain so angry, right? Because he was the king of kings. And wrinkle lip. What's the meaning of wrinkle? Exactly, that wrinkle lip. And sneer of cold command. What is the meaning of cold command? Always on order, like giving the off order. Like the wrinkle lip is something like always in a wrinkling position and giving you the command, do this, do that, kill him, or bring him, something like, right? So it says that like this king and Pharaoh, we all know that he was what? One of the worst kings that ever lived on the earth. Clear? Now look. Till that it is sculpture well those passions rave. Now who is praising the sculptor right now? The poet is praising the sculptor because the sculptor did a very good job, a fantastic job by, bringing out his wrinkled lips and the frown eyes and giving his the most, it says that in a very expressive way, giving his the highest expression of that face, like how does a king look like? Meaning that the sculpture, the work, it looks very what? Realistic. Clear? This is what he's praising. And then he says what? Which yet survive, stand on these lifeless things. Which yet survive. Still it remains on the earth. A stamp. What is the meaning of stamp? Do you know that? It's called something like that when you stamp on feet, right? Meaning that stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, and the heart that failed, and on the pedestal. What's the meaning of, like, if I say, what's the word? Mocked? It's meaning like, in this poem, it's meaning that to copy something. Like, how did he mock it up? How? He saw the real face, right?
Yes.
The sculptor must have seen the real Ramesses, right? And then he just drew the sculpture. He just made the
রিয়েল
sculpture.
জিনিসটা কালচারটার মধ্যে পুরো
Exactly.
কপি করছে
And on the pedestal, these words appear. And what the pedestal? Exactly. Like there is some word written. Who is that? Right? The identity. Right? And what's the identity it says? What's the identity it says? King
My
of.
name is
My name is Ozymandius, King of
Kings.
Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck. Now, what's the meaning of colossal? Something monumental, something really a mammoth. It's very huge. How huge it was, I said already. 57 feet.
59.
59 was the actual height.
Okay.
But this word was how long? 57. 57 feet. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretched far away. Now, who is the survivor right now? The lone and level sands. Now, what remains only? The sculpture is made of what? Clay, right?
Clay.
Now, what remains only? Only the clays. And you don't remain. And what's the line? Nothing remains beside. Have you? Nothing beside remains. Have you followed the line?
Yes, nothing beside remains.
In life, whatever you do, like it's a very good lesson for all of us, right? I think if you think that you're so powerful, if you think because there will always be an ending of Messi, right? Messi cannot play all the time. There will always be an ending of Cristiano Ronaldo, right? There will always be an ending of like Shakib Al Hasan, Sachin Tendulkar, like all the great legends. They have an ending, right? They cannot play all the time, and there is always an ending. And people want to live forever, but when it's your time, you might seem like you are the mightiest, you are the king of the kings, and you do whatever you want. But when you fall, what remains with you? Only the lone survivor. Who becomes the lone survivor?
The sculpture.
No, yes, the sculpture, but what is it? The clay?
The clay.
The sand.
The sand.
And nothing remains beside you. Okay, now, I want you to go through the poem, and so that I can ask you, and some of you will be reading it with me. Mr. Author, go through the poem, full poem, just read it. I met a traveler from an antique land. I'm just reading it. I hope that all of you read it with me. I met a traveler from an antique land, saying to vast and trunkless legs of stone.
Stand in the desert near them on the
Visage, okay? Visage. Can I think all of you. I think all of you that have done the pronunciation. So what's the phonetics, right? It should be like VI, pronounce it that way. VISIZ. Okay. I, yes, right. Okay. Visage. No. Visage. Okay. Visage. Can you just write it down? VISIZ. Just do it. What's the meaning of visage? Face. So it's a very, I think, if you understand, if I say that your visage seems muddy, but no one is going to understand that. Because rarely someone you'll find that they understand the meaning of the visage, right? Difficult. Okay, I'll be asking you, just go through that, I'll be asking you. What's the meaning of frown? Anger, like expression of anger. Wrinkled?
Sir, can you tell me the S and W E R? What is the pronunciation?
Sneer. And sneer meaning is like it's come from like it's also like it's coming on from your nose, like the order is already ready. Like the flow of the order is on the air already. Sneer of cold command. Passions red. The pronunciation will be what?
Passions
Red, not read. Why? Red. Why red? Because it's the past tense, okay? We cannot pronounce it like read. What should be the pronunciation? Red.
Passions.
Which yet survived, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, and the hurt that faked, and on the pedestal, these words appear.
My name is Ozymandius.
My name is Ozymandius, King of Kings. Look on my words
Ye might and disappear.
and despair.
Nothing
Despair
said
means
remains
what? No
from
hope.
the decay.
Hopeless.
Colossal work.
Colossal. Colossal meaning is very
The second
magnanimous. It's very big. Okay? Huge.
So colossal wreck হবে ওটা?
Colossal wreck.
The why the W is there?
What should not be the W? It's because this is how it's written. You cannot. We cannot. Wreck means what? The colossal wreck means what? The ruins, the destruction, right? It's a huge sculpture, but it's being destructed, and no one cares, by the way.
Distraction.
Have you ever thought? Now, just to be very frank,
Wreck.
if you think of the president, I think Donald Trump. I think you know also like who is that? Barack Obama, right?
Yes, sir.
Then Bush, George W. Bush, and think of like Joe Biden. What do you think? Like if they get down from the position, right? Do you think that people will be respecting them again?
No.
No one cares, right? Who you are.
Maybe some of them will remember.
Some of them, but no one will remember you like people remember Mother Teresa.
No.
No one will remember you like people remember Mahatma Gandhi. No one will remember you like people remember Nelson Mandela
Yes.
or Frederick Douglass. Right? Because why? Because these people, they didn't have anything, but they gave so many things.
Yes, sir.
But these people, they have everything, but they gave you nothing. But they took away everything.
Yes.
That's the problem. And that's why you don't remember. Because Mother Teresa didn't have anything, but she gave everything to you. Nelson Mandela was just a black guy who was not that much great, but he did something that the whole world is still struggling for. Is what? Racism, right? Against the racism. By the way, all of you are racist as well.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because I think like, I was thinking because all of you have celebrated the spring, but none of you have celebrated the summer or the winter, or none of you have celebrated the rainy season. So you people are racist as well.
That's
You should have, because you didn't sing a song, because when it comes for, you didn't wish someone, like, hey, rainy
happy
season,
summer days.
happy summer day, happy winter, happy rainy season. So you people are also racist. Because you only celebrate for only one occasion.
Happy spring.
Right? Because you're only welcoming spring, right? But what's wrong with the winter? Tell me. It's because there's no Valentine's in winter? What's the reason? Because we all become, in some cases, because we are racist in a way. Because we only celebrate those things that cares our emotions. Right? We don't celebrate those days. Like, it doesn't, because, you know, how could you call like, you know, I want to end up racism. I cannot end up racism unless, you know, I become a purified soul from the inside me. Okay? Anyway, let's read it. I think I'm gonna ask, who wants to read this one? Okay, okay, Fatima, you read the first so that everyone can have a correction.
Ozymandius by Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who saved two vast and
No.
troublous.
Give some emotion. Like, I met a traveler from an antique land who saved.
Sorry, Walter.
Okay, read.
Sir Yasin can do it. He knows how to put emotion. This part I am very bad at.
Okay.
Do I read? Just read?
No, carry on.
Okay. I met a traveler from an antique land who saved two vast and tremulous legs of stone stand in the desert near them on the sand. Half sunk a shattered visage lies whose frown, and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold commands tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandius, kings of kings. Look at my works, ye mighty and despair. Nothing beside remains round the decay. Of the colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Okay, few correction. Like, anyway, I think it's once you read it for a few moments, then it will be okay. Okay, on to read. Ozymandius, perceive Shelley. And try to give the emotion like how when you read a poem, like can you check it out? Like there is no full stop until the sentence ends, and it's a big sentence. Check it out. Do you find any full stop? From too vast to far away, there's only one full stop. Right? It's a long sentence. So if it's a long sentence, so what's the indication of a full stop? You can stop, right? You can give a pause. But what about other punctuations like comma, semicolon? Like you can give a pause, but you cannot end up the whole thing, right? You should carry on. So it's a good reading. Read. Ozymandius.
By Trustee Shelley.
Okay.
I met a traveler from an antique land who said two vast and boundless
Can you stop the recording? It's not necessary.
lakes of stone.